Hi everybody. So today I'm going to do a new demonstration with the Tray Sheet collection. This is actually the second demo that will be on my YouTube channel. There are some more over on the Sentimentally Yours Facebook page. So you can pop over there, give the page a like and a follow, and you can check out all the photo albums over there. They're packed with inspiration from myself and my design team, so it's well worth making yourself a coffee and going and having a look. So what I wanted to do today was go through some of the Tray Sheet collection. Now this is the collection that was released at the end of February, so it's brand new. I have only been on TV with it once, so you might not have actually seen this. So I'm going to quickly go through this just to give you an idea about what the collection is about. So the original design is, the style of this is to give you like a shabby chic vintage feel, slightly Parisian if you like. So I'll start from the top and work my way down. The packaging is obviously in my limited edition colours, which go with the papers that we'll get to in a second. So got two A6 background stamps here. So this one is called the Rose Blooms. I'm just going to flip it over so you see the actual size of the stamp. So this is a full A6 background stamp with lots of beautiful little rose bloom heads there. It's not a repeating pattern, this one, but you can obviously just multi-stamp this because the style is very random, so it works both ways. Then you've got this gorgeous, and I think this is one of my favourite stamps from this collection. This one is called Lace Motif, and if I flip that over and just let you see the incredible detail that's in this stamp, this is a repeating pattern. So if you wanted to make a bigger piece with this, you can line it up, albeit you would probably need to use a stamping platform to get it spot on. But it is repeatable and you can create larger pieces with that. So that's the second A6 background stamp. Then the original release from the Tray Sheet collection was these 4 DL stamps, and these are just absolutely stunning. They're just going to lend themselves to so many different projects. So this one is called Mandala Crackle, which features the mandala that is all the way throughout this stamp collection and throughout the dies, with some really faint, delicate crackle detailing in there. And these are DL sized, so they're perfect for your tall, slim cards or your DL cards. Can use this one portrait or landscape, it doesn't matter. Then you have the Elegance Blooms, which I'll bring in and I'll flip over and show you the stamp. So this is a Tray Chic Elegance Blooms, which is just absolutely gorgeous. So you've got the beautiful, almost giving you the hint of a heart shape there, with the same rose bloom and the detailing there with the little icon. So another one DL. I would probably use this one portrait because I designed it that way, but you can definitely use it either way. Then you have the Cascading Blooms, another gorgeous DL stamp, and I call these background stamps, but in actual fact they're not really, because you can do so much more with them. You can use them on your die cuts or your toppers, or even in the background. So that is again featuring the foliage throughout the collection and the same rose bloom head. Then we've got the Leafy Script, which is another DL one. It's the last of the DL in the series, and I'll turn it over actually, it's easier for you to see on the front. So this one features the leaves that are throughout the whole collection, and you can see there, it's just got some beautiful, delicate, random script in the background, just to give you an extra layer of detail and a little bit of texture. So these are the first 4. These are the only 4 DL stamps that are perfect for, like I say, your slimline cards or even your A5, because you would just need to stamp them twice. Then we move on to the sentiments. So this is the Essential collection. Now, normally, most of you that know me will know that I usually do 2 sets of sentiment stamps when I release a new collection, but this time I've condensed it all into one and called it Essential. It's a beautiful, beautiful flowing font, and really important to me and to you, obviously, is that it's legible. So when I designed this, I specifically designed this with some two row, some 3 row, and a couple that are actually 4 rows. So what that means when you get these stamps home, it means that if you've got a little circle topper, die cut, you know that they're going to fit in that. If you've got rectangles, they're going to work, and also if you've got squares. So that is the Essential Sentiments. Then you have look at this is a mouthful. So then you have the Mandala circle frames and mini sentiments. So these were an add-on, and I'm going to be using these today, so I'll put them to one side in a second. So these obviously are designed to work in your circle dies, your circle die cuts, and then you've got some mini versions of the original sentiments, and they're actually about a third of the size. So 6 different frames that all coordinate with the rest of the collection. The rose blooms there, the foliage, more leaves, the Mandala Crackle there, which is the one that I'm probably going to use today, and then this beautiful little icon. So I'll keep that to one side because I'm going to use that today. And then we've got this absolutely incredible A4 stamp set. So I rarely do A4 stamp sets. It's only now and again that I do them in A4. And that's because I wanted to get this gorgeous mandala stamp here, this circle in the middle. This is where the whole collection actually started. Let me see if I'm going to show you the front because it's easier to see the detail. Yeah, so this is actually where the whole collection started, with this stamp in the middle. So it was all centered around the mandala here, but you can obviously use that in its entirety. I'll try not to dazzle you with the lights. You can use that as a whole, so it would make a great focal point for a 6x6 or a 5x5 card. But then the way we're going to use it today is we're going to chop into this. So I've designed it so that you can use certain sections from there. So I'll show you on the front because it's easier. So you can actually use it as a whole. You can actually use it with the solid black there, or you can go down to the next leaf, or the next one, or the next one, or the next one, right down to this tiny one in the center. Then we have all these gorgeous icons that you're going to be able to create backgrounds and embellishments from. You can even fussy cut the hearts with the leaves there. And then you've got these really intricate lacy borders, and all of these borders are repeatable. So you can repeat all of these. So it starts with half a heart and it ends with the other half there. Ooh, there you go. Try not to dazzle you from the lights. And the same with the other ones. These are all repeatable, and I'm just going to show you the detail because these stamps are incredible. So even if you only treated yourself to one set of stamps, I would tell you that it needs to be the A4 set because there is just so much versatility in that set of stamps. We are using that today. Then we move on to the papers. So I always do two sets of papers with a release. It's very rare that I only do one. And this is because I wanted to have a positive and a negative with black and cream. So this one here is a Trait Classique, and Trait Classique is cream papers. Where's the light gone? There we go. Oh, why is it doing that? That's a bit strange, so I'll do it from here. So Trait Classique is the cream papers with the black or washed out black designs on top of there. So you've got 40 sheets in each of these packs. Look at that mandala. Stunning. And then you have all of this coordinates. So the whole thing is designed, the whole collection is designed to coordinate. You've got some of the shabbiness done for you already. So if you don't like using ink pads to put your inky edges on or anything like that, you don't have to worry about that. If I get to the rose blooms, let's just get to the rose blooms. Where are you? There we go. I'm just going to zoom in on the rose blooms because all of these designs are not solid black. They're all kind of faded out a little bit. So you've got a vintage shabby chic feel before you even do anything else to them. You don't actually need to do anything else to these papers. So that is the Trait Classique. Then we've got Trait Chic, which is exactly the same designs, but you can, it's obviously when I flick that way. So it's the same designs, but obviously with the, I'm not going to say black because it isn't really a true black in the background. It's almost like a charcoal black, and then with the cream designs on top there. Look at that. I absolutely love these papers, and I'm going to say I think this is my favourite collection that I've done so far. And then you've got, look at that, how beautiful that paper is. I know I keep saying look at that, but it's because I love them. So this is what we're using today. I have used the Trait Chic paper, so I have used the black background with the cream icons. And then the dies for today's demonstration are the floaty fronds, which I absolutely love. And this is the effect you're going to get from these. Very delicate fronds. I've also used, if I can get to them, the Succulent Foliage. So Succulent Foliage, most of you that know me will know, is one of my favourite leaf dies. And all of my dies like this feature that beautiful debossing detail. Let me see if I can show you that. I know most of you know this. Come on, focus camera. Where are we? There you go. If I just wiggle that towards the light, you can see that we've got the debossing detail. So that is the Succulent Foliage. The daisies that I've used today, and you'll be pleased to know I've already done them all, just to save time. So the daisies I've used are the Delicate Daisies, which is the one that doesn't feature any debossing. And the reason I've used that one is because I've used the patterned papers. So the papers that were left over from the matting and layering for today's project, I've actually used the daisy dies to create a coordinating embellishment. And then last but not least, we are using the brand new Stitch Torn Circles, and I can't tell you how much I love these dies. So you've got that beautiful, I'm not going to say decal because it isn't decal, but it's a torn effect edge with the debossing of the stitch detail there. So that's what we're going to use today. That's just about everything. I'm just going to show you the extras before I get started. So just put those over there out of the way. So the extras that I'm using today, I'm using a VersaFine Clay and the Nocturne, which is the black. I'm using my Twinkling Embossing Powder in Cosmic Black. There you go, which is the glittery one. And you'll see that properly in a second. And I'm using the new Crystal Gemporium Champagne Gems. So these are the ones that have the multifaceted surface. They're not like normal gems. So let's get cracking. So I have already done the majority of this, but I'm going to show you how I've done all this, how I've got to this stage. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, and we'll do the mandala first, because I know sometimes large stamps can be a little bit intimidating. So I want to show you how easy it is to change the look of this stamp. So I'm always conscious when I'm designing stamps that I want them to do more than one thing. People that know me and that have followed me for years will know that my stamps are not one-track ponies. They are designed to be used for as long as you want, and they're adaptable, they're versatile, which means you can do lots with them. So for example, if you're not into the black and cream look, which is what I'm doing with the Tray Chic, you absolutely can use this stamp in your favourite colours. So if you wanted to do this in pinks or purples or lilac, you would be absolutely fine to do that. And you would also be able to choose which section of this you used, instead of using it as a whole. So I am going to use this as a whole today, if I can get that off. And I'm just going to bring in the piece that I have already done. You can see this is the one I've used a lot. And I'm just going to position that in the middle. So I'm not going to use this piece because I've already got the one done that I want to do. But I do want to show you how I got to that stage. So this piece of card, I'm just going to measure it for you, is 16.5 by 16.5, which is basically just over 6 inches. And you can see that I could have gone a little bit smaller. We could have gone to a 5 by 5, maybe. Yeah, 1/4 of an inch either side. So I'm just going to pop that in the centre. I'm holding it down with my magnets because this is a large stamp. And we're going to stamp this in the VersaFine Clay Nocturne. And we're going to add some detail with the Cosmic Black Twinkling Embossing Powder, which does have silvery flecks in it. So a couple of little tips for you. So when you're using large stamps like this, it's probably easier to use your stamping platform. And just remember, I've been quite lucky there. I'm just going to show you. There are no air bubbles in there, so you can't see any air bubbles on that. But if you do get any air bubbles, because it's a solid stamp, just put it in position, peel it back, and then just roll it back onto your platform. And that tends to get, well, there are none there, but that tends to get rid of any air bubbles that you might get there. Right, so let's get cracking. So this is what I want to achieve from this stamp today. So you can see we've got that beautiful black embossing powder with the silver speckles. And I haven't, so although I have used this stamp as a whole, what I've done is I've chopped the middle out of it to create an aperture. Yeah, I just got some foam tape on there, and that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to stamp it and show you. So because I know I don't need the middle part, I'm not going to waste my ink and stamp all over everywhere. I'm just going to stamp around the edges. And if you're a new stamper, I'll give you a little tip. Stamps that have solid or large solid areas like this, I would always recommend the VersaFine Clair, because VersaFine Clair are particularly juicy, and that's what we want from this. You might still need to go in 2 or 3 times to get a solid black. I don't need to worry about that today because I am going to emboss this. So I'm just going to pop that on. You can see I've left the middle with no ink on whatsoever. I'm trying not to dazzle you with that light. In fact, let me turn that around. Well, that's not much help, is it? I'll move it further up just so it's not in your face. So let's see if I need to go in a second time. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Depends how quickly the heat. You see, that's fine. That's absolutely fine for what we need today. Do clean your stamp. I'm a little bit OCD with cleaning my stamps. Even though they're not, the VersaFine Clairs do stain them, I still like to clean them and get all the excess ink off. Absolutely don't worry if you can't get all the ink off, because it won't make any difference. It won't harm your stamp. So let's take that off. So the VersaFine Clair will stay tacky long enough for me to put some Twinkling Embossing Powder on top of, which is what I'm going to do. That's from my finger, so it's a good job I'm not using this one. So with any Twinkling Embossing Powder, just give them a good shake before. So I'm not sure whether you know how these are made, but these are basically made from different sized grains of glittery embossing powder, and within that you have some clear embossing powder, which is what binds it all together. So you can't see any there. All you can see is the silver and the black, but sometimes you might get a little, it looks like a lump of dust, like a little lump of clear embossing powder. If you do get that, it's absolutely meant to be there, so don't try and pick it out. Just give it a good shake and it breaks down, and that's what becomes the binder. So I'm just going to pop that on there. I should have used my anti-static bag and I didn't, but that's because I know I'm not using this one. So do use your anti-static bag on your piece of card first, just to stop the powder going where you don't want it. We're nearly done. I've just got the last bit to do. And you should be able to see, I'll just blow the excess off. There we go. I'll pop this back in here. Remember not to decant my embossing powders into larger tubs. Keep them in the pots that they come in, because they have got the anti-static properties built in, which does reduce some of the grains from sticking where you don't want them, but inevitably you will get some somewhere. And don't blow the embossing powder on your lovely white desk. So let's just show you that before I actually heat that. You can see the sparkle before I even heat set this. It's a lovely way to use a solid stamp. So if you're scared of using a solid area stamp with just one colour, this is a good way to reduce the impact of it being one colour. So I am going to use my heat tool, and I am going to go from above with this. So whereas most people know that I heat from underneath, it doesn't actually matter with this because it's not a sentiment. I would always heat emboss a sentiment from underneath just to keep the powder smoother. So I'm just going to go from above, and you do see you can overheat a Twinkling Embossing Powder. So you'll notice, as you might not be able to see it while I'm doing it from here, But when you're doing this yourself at home, you'll notice that there's a slight colour change. It kind of becomes more twinkly as you're going around. And as soon as it changes, that's when you need to move. Don't do wafting. Keep it in one place and follow the design around. So get the tool heated up first. So heat it for a second before you start, just so that the airflow is already warm. And I'll just start here. In fact, let me see if I can bring it in so you can see. I'll start from there. You might not be able to tell from where you are. But I can see this changing. So I'm just going to work my way around. I'll show you in a second. Once it's been heat set, you actually see the silver a little bit more. So the little hint of silver that's been mixed in with the black becomes more dominant. And that's it. That's the whole thing heat set. Just get rid of some of these little bits of dust. I'm just going to bring that in to show you. Oh, there you go. Look, how about that? Is that not just the most beautiful effect? And because I know we don't need the middle, so what I would do is use my circular dies that I've just put over there out of the way. So I've used my stitch torn circle dies and I've chopped out the middle look. So what I've ended up with, I'll just put that to one side, is that beautiful silvery effect, but I've created an aperture. We've just created a detailed aperture from this as opposed to just a plain cut out circle. And remember, the stitched ones give you that gorgeous serrated finish as well. So slightly different to an ordinary one. And what we'll do before we move on is the sentiment. So let's just pop the stamp back. So if you're new to Sentimentally Yours and me, just remember you can find us and me on Facebook. So you can search for actually my Facebook group is called the same as my YouTube channel, so Crafting with Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours. So you can find us on Facebook. You will also find me on Facebook, Phil Martin, and you will also find Sentimentally Yours on Facebook, and all the other usual ones, Twitter, Instagram. I am going to make a conscious effort to upload new videos to YouTube that are different to my Facebook lives. So it's well worth subscribing, and who knows, I might even start doing the new release sneaky peeks from YouTube instead of Facebook. Right, so what we're going to do now is the sentiment for the top. And again, I have already got this done just because I wanted to put the glitter on and it'd be dried ready for me to create the card with. So you can do this two ways. So you can use your scraps from the matting and layering, and you can stamp your medallion circle frame, then your sentiment, and then cut out afterwards. And I've already got a circle cut out, so I'm going to show you how these medallions work. I love stamps that you can mix and match. So if you look at these, the card that I've made today, I've already done with the medallion. So we've got the medallion frame going all the way around there. So I use a different one for this. Let's use this one, which is this beautiful foliage one. And that's the beauty of stamps. Stamps are never a consumable, because stamps just last for so long, and you can create so many different looks with this. And like I said earlier, if you want to do the roses, for example, in red and cream, you know it's going to work. So I'm going to use the medallion one. So let me just talk you through these stamps. So these stamps, obviously I've purposefully kept the middle bit open so that we could get the extra stamp design in there, the extra sentiment. So these are quite strong stamps, so they're not gonna go out of shape or anything like that. So I'm gonna push my luck here, and I'm gonna see if I can get this in the center. I'm not too worried if it's not perfect because it's not my original one. It's just to show you how that works. So just get the magnetic sheet on, the magnets on. I'm just going to bring that closer to me so I can see. And I'm using the little stitch detail of the die cut as my guide. And again, I'm using the VersaFine Clay. Now if I wanted to be showing off, which I am actually, I'm going to do it in one go. So I'm going to pop my little Just For You in the middle and pick that up at the same time. So it just means if you're doing a lot, you can stamp more than one at a time. So let's get this on with the VersaFine Clay again. The other good thing is if you invest in these circular dies, if you decide after you've done this that you want to change the sentiment in the middle, you can just go to the smaller circle die and do another layer, and then you will get a different effect again. Oh, that's just so beautiful. So in one stamp, we've now created a beautiful framed. I'm not going to put the glittery embossing powder on this, with that lovely foliage that's going all the way around. And you can actually see that the ink is still a bit wet, so we could, if we wanted to, put the Twinkling Embossing Powder on. But I'm not going to do because I want to get on with this card and give you some ideas of what you can make. So that's showing you all the sections that I've used to, all the techniques that I've used to create this layered card. So I'm going to bring all this in and show you where we're at, just so you know what I'm doing. I'm just going to get a drink. I did bring coffee, and as usual, it's cold. You'll get used to me saying that. I've made a coffee and it's gone cold. So I have an 8x8 card base. Now when I'm demonstrating, I don't make a full opening card. I just use the layers because I make so many samples for my TV shows and everything that it just feels like a waste of card. So you would absolutely be able to do what I'm doing here as an 8x8 card. I've then got another layer with my cool anthracite luster card, and I'll just remind you all, look, so all the products are available providing they're in stock on my website, which is honeypotcrafts.co.uk. If you are an overseas customer, you can contact us directly via the Honeypot Crafts Facebook page and we will be able to help you there. So I've got a layer, and I like small layers on my cards. So you'll notice if you look at all my samples on Facebook that my base, I tend to leave a larger border, but it's usually 1/2 centimetre, 3/4 centimetre, and then I graduate down. So we've got the cool anthracite there on the edge, and then I've got some of that gorgeous paper from the Tray Chic collection, which is the cream embellishments on the black. So let's get this layered up. I'm going to stick this on first. And the only reason I've got all this pre-prepped is because it's quicker when I'm demonstrating. You don't want to watch me putting loads of foam tape on if I can help it. I like dimension on my cards, which is why I use so much foam tape. If you want yours flat for posting, absolutely, it's fine. So I'm putting a little bit of my PVA glue on top of the foam tape just to give me a bit of wiggle time in case I put this on and it's not straight. It does happen. So now let's get this stuck on. So wiggle time, so I'm just holding this in place until I can see that it's level, and just press that down. I'm going to give you a little tip as well when you're working with foam tape, because sometimes when you get to the last corner where you release a drop, it can, in fact I'll show you, look, it can just kink in a little bit. And I've discovered that the way to rectify that, because I put the glue on, I can poke that corner up, look. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold that corner down with my finger and then just roll that on. And then what happens, look, is it lifts it. Ooh, it lifts it. So it's perfectly straight now. And then we've got another layer with the cool anthracite cardstock, which is going on foam tape as well. Let's just get my foam tape. No, it's not. It's going on flat, which is why I haven't put the foam tape on. And this is just going in the middle. I'm just going to show you. So at this stage, I have put the cool anthracite card there, so that when I put the aperture on, the inner part of this gives me a break from the paper in the background, and it gives you the cool anthracite. But if you didn't want to, it looks just as good without the extra layer. But I am going to put that extra layer on because I can, and so can you when you get all this home. So I've already mentioned there's probably a couple of demos already on my Facebook page, the Sentimentally Yours Facebook page, where I've used the Chic collection. I tend to try and do a Facebook Live every Saturday morning, as most of you will know. Or Saturday afternoon, sorry. So Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock on my Sentimentally Yours Facebook page. And the only times I don't do that is if I'm on TV or I'm not here. I'm somewhere else. So again, with the layers of foam tape. So I've mounted this and I've glittered this. And the glitter I've used, as ever, is my Diamond Dazzle. And I favour the crunchier, chunkier glitters. If you don't, you can use my Rainbow Crystals, which is a super fine glitter. So again with the foam tape. Now normally I've got all my followers on Facebook to have banter with on a Facebook Live. So if I sound like I'm professional, it's because I'm not bouncing off everybody and I've got nobody to torment. So I'm just going to pop that on there. Oh, this is just so classy. It looks really, really elegant. And then we'll pop the sentiment in the middle, and the sentiment is on 2 layers of foam tape, just so I've got double the height. I can't use silicone glue. I do use glue gel when I'm popping my flowers on, but I can't use regular silicone. It gives me migraines. So I always try and do as much as I possibly can with my PVA glue and my foam tape. I'm just going to get my tweezers just so I can hold that and position that in the middle. There's just something about black and cream together that is so elegant. It's very classy, very stylish. So you wouldn't actually have to put any extra layers on there if you didn't want to. You wouldn't need to put any extra embellishments on. But if you know me, you know that I've got some flowers here, because it's kind of my thing. So I showed you the flowers at the beginning where I've created them using the same coloured cardstock. So I've got the cool anthracite luster card, which is the one that you see shining there. I've got my almond hue, which is the cream shade, and then the inner parts are the paper that was left over from the mat when I did the matting and layering there. And I've got my leaves, so let's get these on. And for this I am using my glue gel. So let's just remind it. I do have a lot of flowers, so if you don't like flowers, don't feel like you need to put loads on. But I do. And it's because I don't post many, if any, cards. So what I've come a little bit further away from because I don't want to cover up all that beautiful mandala. So I've come a little bit further away than I would do normally, but I've still kept within the edges of the card so it doesn't get knocked or battered. So I'm starting with the largest one in the corner. Then I'm going to the next one down, still on the edges, and I'm putting this size underneath the largest flower, so the largest flower actually becomes more prominent. There we go. So I haven't covered too much of that beautiful mandala stamp. And then the leaves are going to go on. So these 3 little flowers are for that corner. All the rest, oops, sorry, that's telling you a fib. It's them 3, and then that one's for the sentiment. So now the leaves are going on the foliage. The foliage I am putting on with my white glue, my PVA. So I've already shaped these. You can see that I've just shaped these with my bone folder, just to give them a little bit of an angle. I'm going to pop that one in there. So I'm just holding it with my tweezers just till the glue grabs. I'm going to do the same with the bottom one. And the reason I put these here like this is because when the last flower goes on, just bring that in a little bit more. That's it. When the last flower goes on with the glue gel, it will cover up that. It will cover up that glue, the end of the stem. So the other foliage, as you get to know me, or those of you that do, you'll know I tend to use 2 different sorts of foliage all the time. So the floaty fronds are a great dye to go with the succulent foliage, and whichever one I have facing in, I have the opposite foliage facing out. Personal preference, again, that's just me. And because we can do whatever we want once we've got the dyes. So there isn't any glitter on the cool anthracite card. So let's get the other flowers on. And the last one up here. We are nearly done. So elegant. I'm just going to pull that in a little bit more because I want to get a gem on there. And then 3 little flowers for the opposite side. I told you, I'm obsessed with them. So I've got one there. In fact, I'll put that one on next. So the smallest one is going in the corner. We are almost done, and I think that this might be the quickest demo I've ever done. So I've just shaped these. I don't know whether you can see, but I've just shaped these so that they're a little bit at an angle. Just gives you a nice effect. No foliage up there. And then the last flower is a teeny tiny one from the same daisy set, and that's just going on the edge there. So I'll put the lid on my glue, and we're going to finish with just one little champagne gem in that corner, one champagne gem in that corner, and we are done. So let's pop that in there. So I'm popping them in the lid because it's easier to grab them with the pickup tool. So I want that one and that one. And we are finished. I'm not putting any more gems on. I was just thinking about it, but I'm not. And there we go. I think that that is beautiful. So the Diamond Dazzle glitter is on all the layers. Yep, so on the paper, on the almond hue card, and on the sentiment there. We've used the Twinkling Embossing Powder from the Cosmic range. So it's Cosmic Black on the Mandala stamp in the middle. I've got glitter, again Diamond Dazzle, just on the tips of the almond hue flowers. So it's quite a dimensional card, as you would expect from me. So this would need to go in a box, but how gorgeous is that? So there you have it. So just quick reminder for you, if this is the first time you've found me on YouTube, please like and subscribe to my channel and share to everybody that you know. You will also find me on Facebook and my brand, my craft brand, Sentimentally Yours, on Facebook. So you can search for Phil Martin or Sentimentally Yours. You can also join my private Facebook group, which is packed full of inspiration and lovely, lovely crafters. And that is called the same as my YouTube channel. So you can search for Crafting with Phil Martin and Sentimentally Yours. And all of the products, providing they are in stock, are available on my honeypotcrafts.co.uk website. So please have a browse at the other videos on my channel. Most of them are Facebook Lives, but I have started doing some new ones specifically for you guys, just for YouTube. So, and this is one of them. So this demo hasn't been seen until today. So thank you, everybody. Stay safe. Thank you for watching, and I shall catch you next time. Bye.